Hi there, and welcome to the introductory podcast episode for our third season of Cybers.
Oh my God.
We're a podcast about science, popular culture, and entertainment. We've designed this podcast to be listened to by everyone, no matter if you're a practicing physicist, a tradesperson, or even a circus acrobat. We are your hosts, Isabel
And Ella. And we are two science communicators and SolarPunk enthusiasts. And we are taking this podcast and you on a journey into hopeful futures despite our levels of current climate anxiety, paralysis, grief, etc. So each episode of this season, we will be talking about the themes of SolarPunk. We're going to give you a good news digest from the world of climate action, because really we all need to hear the good news as well as the bad. And we're going to bring in some science along the way. But our podcast, this is for you. And as always, we are going to start off this podcast by doing an acknowledgement of country in language. Daura Nuna, Daura Nunawol, Yangu, Nanimanyin, Dunimanyin, Nunawol Wari, Dawa Wari, Dindi, Wangirlid Jin Yin. This is Nunawol country. Today we are all meeting here together on Nunawol country. We acknowledge and pay our respects to the elders.
Yeah, thank you, Ella. I just wanted to take a moment to say that, especially since this is a SolarPunk season and decolonization is a really important part of SolarPunk, our acknowledgements of country are especially critical this season. And while they don't resolve everything, they are the first step to decolonization.
Yeah, so we're going to continue to do them in language and with our deepest respects, and extending those respects to all traditional owners of lands across the airwaves on which you might be listening or watching this podcast on.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so it's been a minute since we've been in the studio.
It's been a hot minute, and it's also been a hot minute since we've introduced ourselves. We've had 2 whole seasons since our first teaser and introduction.
Yes, and we've had some wonderful listeners from the very beginning, and we've also got some amazing new listeners. So we thought it'd be a good chance to sort of reintroduce ourselves. Things have also changed a little bit for both of us in terms of like work, research.
We're growing up.
Oh.
Yeah, we're growing up, and we want to take you on this journey with us. So we're going to do a reintroduction for listeners old and new.
Yes. So I'm Isabel. I'm a research officer at the Australian National University.
What a good place to be.
It is. I'm currently looking into cybernetics and the history of technology in Australia, particularly the telegraph lines, and how they can inform our understanding of current and future technologies. I'm now also doing a bit of work on the history of women in Australian science communication, which I'm very passionate about now and getting super excited about.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a bit of work. I think it's a full-blown project at this point, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
But outside of my day job, I have a lot of hobbies. I love to read. You know how people are usually saying, oh, you watch too much TV? Well, I get told...
Not Isabel.
No, I get told you read too much on like so many different topics. Ella also reads a lot.
What can I say? 2 peas in a pod.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also love video games. I play a lot of them. I just recently built a new gaming PC. It's very pink, very me.
It's so good. It's so cute.
Yes, very... gamer girl coded.
Yes.
And if you haven't worked it out already, I'm a Swiftie.
A huge Swiftie.
Every time it's my turn to post something on socials, I have somehow managed to sneak in a like Taylor Swift reference. Sometimes I do it without even like realizing, to be honest.
Just built in.
Yes. Wow. It'd be funny if someone can actually go and find all of the times that I've done that. And then for me to look at it and go, oh, did I actually mean to do that there or or not? But I think I might hand over to Ella to introduce herself.
Yeah, well, I'm Ella, not Isabel, though I do know that our voices sound pretty similar, even to old friends who have known us for years who listen. So new listeners, don't worry if you can't work out our voices for the first little bit. But yes, I'm Ella. I also work here at the ANU. I'm a communications specialist, so my job is to tell stories about the cool kinds of research and projects that people do here. So I have a lot of fun with my day job, but life isn't just work. And outside of work, I love doing projects, passion projects. This is one of my favorites.
Definitely.
The longest running one, our science communication podcast. But I love other SciComm projects. And currently I'm doing one with some friends from uni, and we are building a device to help with a just energy transition. So we've just won a grant to do that, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, it's really cool what they're doing.
Oh, I'm so stoked. It's a lot of fun work with good people. So I really believe solutions can come out of that.
Actually, one of the project team members was someone we had on as a guest in our last season too.
The last episode we posted was with Isaac.
Yes,
Yeah. And I love science communication and research. And Isabel and I kind of do that in our free time, semi-podcast related, semi-not podcast related. But outside of all my cool projects, I am a Pokemon enthusiast.
Understatement
of the century. I also love X-Men First Class. So if you wondering what you missed in season 1, it's a lot of Pokemon and X-Men First Class references. And I'm still looking to grow as a researcher, and I think I have a lot of alignments in biological anthropology, digital humanities, English literature. Like Isabel said, we both love to read. I love to read. And heaps of interest in pop culture, audiences, depictions of climate change. So you can kind of see how this podcast is a perfect storm.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of climate change.
Oh, please tell me about climate change and
well,
tell me something good.
Yeah. This season is going to be all about SolarPunk.
We're so excited about this season.
We are very, very excited. And we thought a good thing to do here is to talk about some reasons why we love SolarPunk. Because we did an episode on it in our first season.
Which you can kind of view as like an introduction to SolarPunk. So we join the dots between climate change, hopeful futures, SolarPunk. We do, I think, a pretty good entry-level deep dive into the subject, but we want to go even deeper. And there are, I guess, like 3 main reasons why we think SolarPunk is so cool.
Yeah. And so the first one is really its optimism and positive futures. This is probably, like, I think for both of us, our favorite.
We both instantly thought of this.
Yes. Yeah. In the current climate, pun intended, it's really important right now to hear value and speak about stories about the future that bring us hope. We really want to counter that climate doomerism. A lot of the negativity, dystopias, dystopian visions of the future. And so it's really important to highlight the good we can do as a community of individuals and encapsulate the work that so many people are already doing to try and make our world a better place. And that's what SolarPunk is all about. And SolarPunk also does this in a way that makes it feel like those positive futures are achievable and not too far in the future, like a lot of science fiction can do.
Yeah, these stories we think are optimistic because they kind of show us a path to get there, and they often have lots of elements of our current life just transformed a little bit to get us to this more positive place full of less climate grief and denial and anger and a whole bunch of those emotions. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, optimism is a huge one. Second point here about why SolarPunk is so cool and why we want to dedicate a whole season to it. We've never dedicated a whole season to one topic before. Really comes down to a lot of the creativity and innovation that SolarPunk brings. Like I said before, you often see everyday objects used in a different way, technology harnessed in an innovative fashion. This genre is really all about blending the old with the new, and kind of creating a pathway from pollution to sustainability and giving our complex problems some complex solutions.
Yes.
So SolarPunk worlds don't necessarily solve all of our problems, but they're so many steps in the right direction, which is so heartening. And SolarPunk, like so many science fiction connected genres, iterates on our current science and our current understanding of the world, which is really important for us as science communicators to be able to bring in those elements. They really resonate with us.
Yeah.
And it's kind of through these understandings and innovations and creations that SolarPunk stories and their worlds reach an equilibrium where they balance technology with the environment and with community. And they use that kind of systematic thinking to envision sustainable futures through all that creativity and innovation.
Yeah. And, you know, chances are there are already a few small SolarPunk things that you're probably already doing that we are, especially in Australia. You'll have to listen to our future episodes to hear more about that.
And we're definitely going to try and take an Australian spin, as we always love to do where possible. There are a lot of great SolarPunk podcasts, creators out there doing their own really cool thing, and we're absolutely going to recommend them as we go along. Totally. But I think our unique spin on it is going to be a lot more on the science communication side and trying to bring in good news stories and Australian examples where possible too.
Yes. We really want to flood your feed with positivity.
Because there's a lot of it out there.
Yeah, it's just sometimes hard to see because sometimes the negative stuff is what dominates in.
It's a lot more sticky in our brains. Yeah.
And the third reason we love SolarPunk is how it highlights that people are the solution.
Yeah, yes.
And that it's not just one person who's a solution. It sort of moves away from the lone genius narrative that's also popular in science fiction and just in fiction stories in general. It takes a community to bring positive change. And SolarPunk is about stories and narratives where people come together as a community to tackle huge problems of the physical or existential kind.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for this season already.
Me too.
And this is just the teaser episode.
Yeah.
And as it's the teaser, we're going to sprinkle in some of our upcoming episode themes. So though we're doing a whole podcast focused on SolarPunk, we are still going to have thematic episodes, one of which might be a specific Australian edition of SolarPunk, all about Aussie inventions and hopeful stories. So really excited for that one. We're going to dive a little bit into the history of SolarPunk. I might even sprinkle in some SolarPunk in Pokemon if Isabel lets me.
I think I actually might have talked about a little bit about SolarPunk in Pokemon in our very first episode.
Well, we're going to circle right back around to that one.
Yes.
I think we also have some really interesting discussions coming up about greenwashing and the commodification of climate solutions.
Yes.
So that's going to be a very, very interesting one. But something I do want to tease, something that is so close to happening that we are in the midst of organising, is that this season might be the very first season we are able to record a live podcast.
Ooh.
A live podcast with our Canberra community. More details coming soon. Please follow our socials and stay in touch because we will be so excited to get all of our community involved in that one. And I'm gonna just leave that there because the more I could talk about it for days. Yeah. But we're really excited.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we are so excited. We've been wanting to do a live podcast for a while now, like over a year, I think. And we're finally in a place where we're able to do that. And so we're super keen to do it. And I think on that note, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you again to all our returning listeners, to all our new listeners. we're very keen to be producing more fun and accessible content for you this season and in the live episode. So you can follow us on our socials at sci_burst. You can also get in touch via our Gmail, which is sciburstpodcast@gmail.com.
Send us an email.
Yeah, please do. It'd be great if you could also leave us a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen. And if you want more before this season comes out, check out our last season and also the last episode of season 1 for an intro to SolarPunk.
Wow, it's like we knew this was coming.
Yeah.
Apart from we did, because we planned it this way.
Yes.
Yeah, so lots of good things to come, lots of places you can get in contact with us, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yes.
So with that said, there's a little bit of wait time until the first big full episode of season 3 comes out, but we couldn't wait. We were so excited. We had to drop the teaser and talk to you.
Yeah.
But we're so excited for you to join us on our 3rd season of Cyburst.
Yeah, we are. So stay nerdy, everyone, and
nerdy.
we will see you shortly.
Yeah. Woo!
Thank you to ANU CPAS for their support and access to their podcast studio.